Tonight, we're going to talk about cryptocurrencies. Everything you don't understand about money combined with everything you don't understand about computers. The main currency you've probably heard about is Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Just PayPal me some Bitcoins when you get a chance.
What?
On October 31st, 2008, anonymous figure Satoshi Nakamoto sent an email containing the white paper for a project he'd been working on called Bitcoin. The email contained the now famous line, "I've been working on a new electronic cash system that's fully peer-to-peer, with no trusted third party." No trusted third party. Now, this may not jump out at you as headline news at first, but in a country and world that were still reeling from the 2007-2008 financial crisis, and with public trust and faith in the government and financial institutions at an all-time low, this was a revelation. But real quick, what does that even mean? Peer-to-peer electronic cash with no third-party verification? Ooh, okay, RoboCop, Back to the Future looking ass. In order to understand Bitcoin and every subsequent cryptocurrency that's come since, we first have to understand the underlying technology, which in this case is blockchain. Whether or not Satoshi knew it at the time, he had created one of the most elegant and successful implementations of the technology known as blockchain that the world had ever and has ever seen. But like that charismatic young man said earlier in the video, what really is blockchain, and how is it different from cryptocurrency?
Bitcoin.
Okay, so let's imagine that you open up a bank. First of all, congratulations, that's a big achievement. But secondly, there are a couple things you're going to have to do as a bank. And number one, and maybe the most important, is protect people's money. So if at all possible, try to avoid getting hacked. Also, make sure you're protecting the information and sometimes even the identity of your clients. So, no, yeah, definitely don't get hacked. You might also have to complete and catalog a lot of transactions for your clients, and we don't want people seeing that, so maybe just make sure that that doesn't get hacked either. I'm actually starting to think it's really important that your bank doesn't get hacked. But okay, cool. We have 3 goals for your new bank. We have to protect people's money, their identity, and their transaction history. But all that stuff really is data. And I would say that a pretty good way to protect data is blockchain. And here's how blockchain is usually described.
Alice's transaction is shared with everyone in the Bitcoin network. These networked computers add Alice's transaction to a shared list of recent transactions, known as a block. Every 10 minutes, the newest block of transactions is added on, or chained, to all the previous blocks. That's how you get a blockchain. To ensure that each block of transactions on the chain is verified, a subset of Bitcoin's network joins a race to solve a very difficult math puzzle. And if they solve it first, their record of the block of transactions becomes the official record. They're rewarded with Bitcoins of their own, and the network gets a new block on the chain. This entire process is known as mining, but instead of chipping away at rock, you're solving complex puzzles. The fact that many computers are competing to verify a block ensures that no single computer can monopolize the Bitcoin market.
Alright, now all of that is true, but if we're being honest with ourselves, I don't really think I completely understood what she just said. The important thing to take away from these complex explanations that you're going to see a lot of the time is that the technology of blockchain is decentralized, meaning that computers all around the world are getting small pieces of data from a wide assortment of transactions, and this information is kept completely confidential and encrypted. But why should you care about that? Well, maybe you own a bank, and maybe it's really important to you that none of the information you have gets hacked. Do you get that? Am I making any sense right now?
Bitcoin.
Hey, so the lighting in my room is different than before, but I think that's something we're all just going to have to try to move past together. The disembodied voice that's been talking all video is kind of overcomplicating things. Like, let's say you grew a beard, right? Or you tried to grow a beard, but it's just not something you're that good at, and that's fine. There's no shame in that. But anyway, let's say you decided to shave that beard. Now what was once an entire beard on my face is thousands of hair follicles and shavings that are all over my bathroom sink, by the way. But that's basically what happens with your data and information in a decentralized distributed ledger. Little pieces of your data may be present all across the world on computers. It's encrypted, but it might be there. But just because somebody finds one hair follicle that belongs to you doesn't mean that they can figure out what the complete picture of your beard looked like. Somebody knowing one little encrypted piece of information from your social security number doesn't mean they can piece the whole thing together and steal your identity. Now, maybe if somebody hacked a bank's records, then they could get entire pieces of information about you. Okay, great. So we kind of understand blockchain to be a decentralized ledger that keeps information safe while also being able to process it at an incredible rate. But what the hell does Bitcoin have to do with blockchain? How are they related and why are they different? Well, the easy answer is blockchain is a vehicle, and Bitcoin is kind of just a passenger. Bitcoin is meant to be a digital currency. Some people will say it's the equivalent of digital gold. That's fine too. We used gold as currency for a long time in the world. But that's pretty much where the buck starts and stops. Bitcoin is just money, but that's not all blockchain can be used for. Some applications of blockchain are arguably much more beneficial to the overall population than something like Bitcoin, which uses more power to mine than all of Norway per year. One application of blockchain that serves to benefit people a lot more than something like Bitcoin is chickens. I'll explain. Some countries, especially those in Asia, have implemented a system with blockchain that allows people to track where their chicken came from before they consume it. And aside from just letting you get a more personal relationship with your food, consumers are also able to track where that food came from, make sure that it's organic or halal, or make sure that it's free range if that matters to them, and it allows government agencies to track where contaminated food came from and what it came into contact with on its way. The truth is, blockchain is still an emerging technology, and we don't know how many applications it is or isn't going to have in the future. It's possible that it could revolutionize how we hold elections, how the global supply chain works, what privacy on the internet really is. Or maybe we've already achieved the peak of what blockchain is capable of. Maybe crypto bros are going to be the lasting legacy of what we thought was a revolutionary technology, with Satoshi's dream being bled for a quick buck and left in the sun to rot. But I don't think so, and I certainly hope not. Every great technology has had parasites and grifters come along and try to profit from its existence, to sit on the shoulders of giants and proclaim themselves to be the tallest in the world. But eventually they're found out for what they are, and the technology progresses without them. I don't know where blockchain is headed, and I can't guarantee that it's going to change the world. But I'm definitely not betting against it.